At some point, every serious creator begins to notice something strange. Two channels can follow almost the same strategy, upload similar content, even target the same audience, yet one rises steadily while the other quietly disappears, and this difference is rarely explained by effort alone. It is rooted in something far less visible but far more powerful: the alignment between the creator's behavior and the system's expectations. Because YouTube does not reward effort in isolation, it rewards qualified effort. Effort that fits within its framework of value, trust, and consistency. And when effort falls outside that framework, it becomes inefficient, no matter how intense or frequent it is. This is where many creators fall into what can only be described as the hard work trap, where they believe that uploading more, editing better, or spending longer hours will eventually guarantee success, without realizing that direction matters more than intensity. And when direction is missing, effort becomes scattered, producing inconsistent results that confuse both the creator and the system, leading to frustration that often gets misinterpreted as bad luck or unfair treatment. But the system is not random, it is structured, and that structure is built around signals, both positive and negative, that constantly shape how your channel is evaluated over time. Positive signals come from originality, audience satisfaction, and policy compliance, while negative signals come from repetition, low retention, and anything that resembles manipulation or low effort. The challenge is that these signals are not always obvious. They operate in the background, influencing visibility and trust in ways that are not immediately visible on the surface. This invisibility creates a dangerous gap because creators often focus only on what they can see: views, likes, subscribers, while ignoring what they cannot see: the system's interpretation of their behavior. And it is this interpretation that ultimately determines whether your channel continues to grow or begins to decline, regardless of how things appear on the outside. One of the most critical yet overlooked elements in this process is audience satisfaction, which goes far beyond simple engagement metrics. It includes how viewers feel about your content, whether they find it valuable, and whether they choose to return. The system uses this information to assess the quality of your channel, and if viewers consistently leave early or fail to engage meaningfully, it sends a signal that your content may not be delivering what it promises. This creates a subtle but powerful shift in how your videos are distributed, often leading to reduced reach over time, even if your content remains consistent in style. And when creators notice this drop, they often respond by making rapid changes, trying new formats, chasing different trends. But without understanding the underlying issue, these changes rarely solve the problem. Instead, they introduce more inconsistency, further weakening the channel's identity and making it even harder for the system to categorize and trust the content. This is where discipline becomes essential. The ability to resist impulsive changes and instead focus on steady, intentional improvement based on actual insights rather than assumptions. Because assumptions are often misleading, especially in an environment as complex as YouTube, where multiple variables interact in ways that are not always predictable. Another key factor is the creator's relationship with risk, because every upload carries some level of uncertainty, and how you manage that uncertainty plays a major role in your long-term stability. Creators who take calculated risks, those who understand the boundaries and operate within them, are more likely to succeed than those who either avoid risk entirely or embrace it without awareness. Avoiding risk can limit growth, while uncontrolled risk can lead to violations, and finding the balance between the two is one of the most important skills a creator can develop. This balance is not fixed. It evolves over time, influenced by changes in the platform, the audience, and the creator's own experience, which means continuous learning is not optional, it is necessary. And learning on YouTube is not just about improving content quality, it is about understanding policies, recognizing patterns, and adapting strategies in response to new information. Those who fail to learn often repeat the same mistakes, sometimes without even realizing it, because they focus on outcomes rather than processes. But outcomes are just results. They do not explain themselves, and without analyzing the process that led to them, improvement becomes guesswork. This is why reflection is such a powerful tool, allowing creators to step back, evaluate their actions, and identify both strengths and weaknesses in their approach. And yet, reflection is often neglected, replaced by constant action, because doing more feels productive, even when it is not effective. But effectiveness is what matters in the long run, because it determines whether your efforts translate into sustainable growth or temporary spikes followed by decline. And sustainability, once again, is the core principle that underlies everything the system values. Because YouTube is not just looking for content that performs, it is looking for content that can continue to perform without creating problems. This includes not only compliance with policies, but also the ability to maintain audience interest, deliver consistent value, and avoid behaviors that could disrupt the platform's balance. When all these elements come together, they create a channel that is not just successful, but stable, one that can withstand changes, adapt to challenges, and continue growing over time. But when they are missing, even the most promising channels can falter, not because they lacked potential, but because they lacked alignment with the system they were operating within. And this brings us back to the central idea. Success on YouTube is not just about what you create, but how your creation fits into a much larger structure, one that is constantly evolving and constantly watching. Understanding that structure does not guarantee success, but ignoring it almost certainly guarantees risk, and in a system where risk can lead to suspension, that is not something any creator can afford to overlook.